A very good morning to you all, dear students. So today we are going to start with a new topic that is under modern period. So the topic of our discussion for today is Battle of Kohima. Okay, that is the battle that fought in Kohima. All right, that is the Second World War. All right, so our aim for today is students will be able to understand the battle that took place in Kohima. All right, that is between the Japanese forces and the British forces. And the resources needed is your notebook, your Nagaland textbook. So you have to get ready with your notebook and your Nagaland textbook, okay? So as you can see from the given picture that is presented out here, you see that this was the condition, okay, when the war broke out between the Japanese forces and the British forces. All right, you can see the condition, how it was destroyed, the places was destroyed. All right, so the trees has been, okay, you can see the forest has been clear, right, as well as this was the old the city of Kohima, okay, how it was before. All right, so the question here is, how did the battle took place in Kohima? All right, how did the battle took place in Kohima? As you can see, this is a village of Kohima. Okay, how it was when the war broke out in Kohima. You see that the forces of Japan, they invaded India. Okay, that is in early 1944. So the two invasions, the two divisions, all right, that is of the 15th Imperial Japanese Army, that is the 33rd and the 31st Division, they laid the attack. All right, and the 33rd Division, they marched into India, that is through Manipur. All right, the 33 Division, they marched into India through Manipur, and the 31st Division, they trekked through the jungle of Burma, that is present day it is called as Myanmar, and they set up camps in the eastern Angami, now the Chakesan region, okay, and southern Angami areas by the early April 1944. So you remember that there were two divisions of Japanese army. They enter, they lay the attack in Kohima. Okay, one they enter through the Manipur side. Okay, that is the 33 division, and the 31st division, they came crossing the jungle of Burma. All right, and they settled. They came in eastern Angami, also called as now Chakesan. Okay, so Chakesan was before was called as Eastern Angami. Okay, and the southern area that is they came after coming passing through Manipur side. All right, so on the 4th of April 1944, the first contact between the Allied troops and the Japanese army that took place at Aradura. Alright, Kohima. Now the site of the cathedral. As you can see, the church of cathedral, right? It was at that site when the first when the first contact between the Allied troops and the Japanese army took place. Okay. Okay, so by 5th of April, Kohima was surrounded by Japanese forces. Alright, so Kohima at that time, they were defended by assorted units of the Assam regiment, okay, of the Assam regiment. So uh, you see that the Royal West Can and units of the 161 Brigade, they were defending the Kohima. They were defending Kohima at that time. So there were also many non-combatants who were trapped in Kohima when the war broke out. The Japanese army, that is numbering more than 10,000 men, slowly they encircled Kohima and established a post in Kohima village. Alright, Krejiri Hills, now called as DC office, Jail Hill, now called as DJP office, and JPD Rich, now Jaffa Hotels. Alright, so all those area under Kohima, they were occupied by Japanese forces, okay, because they were numbering more than 10,000. Alright, more than 10,000 Japanese forces, they surrounded the hill of Kohima, okay, from every direction. Alright, and you'll see that the Allied troops were slowly pushed up towards the garrison hill, now called as Rush Bhavan, alright, and into a perimeter less than half of a football ground. Now, see the Japanese forces, they were trying to circle the place where British was settled, okay, at Rush Bhavan area, and then slowly and steadily they were coming closer and closer. So the area between them, okay, was less than a football ground, okay, were almost half a football ground. I hope you all know the length of football ground, right? And I'm sure you have even seen a football ground, okay. So it was becoming near, okay, like just half a football ground. So during the time, a first battle were fought around the DC Bangalore, now the present day Kohima War Cemetery. Alright, it is the place where the war broke out. Okay, a severe or fierce battle took place, and the tennis court area. Okay, so the elite force who number less than 1,000. So see, you see that the British force, they were less than 1,000 soldiers. Okay, and they were fighting over more than 10,000 Japanese forces. All right, from all sides of the garrison hill. Now they were attacked by all the sides. Okay, by more than 10,000 soldiers, and their forces, they have the British forces, they have only around 1,000 or lesser than that. Okay, so there were shortage of ammunition, means there were shortage of arms, okay, and food supply, as the only road from Dimapur to Kohima was cut off, that is by the Japanese, just outside the Zubza. So many non-combatant like clerks, the driver, the cook, they had to take up rifle and fire at the enemy to defend themselves. Alright, so the valiant soldier could withhold the onslaught of the heavy number force for 13 days. For almost 13 days, they were fighting the battle. Okay, so stories of hand-to-hand combat around the tennis court and DC Bangalore areas have been whole in war story at the Battle of Kohima. So a person like Field Marshal William Slim once wrote that the Battle of Kohima would go down in the history of World War II as the bloodiest battle that was fought. Now the Allied commander, in the meanwhile, they ordered the 2nd Division of the British Army to advance to Kohima from Dimapur, that is, to give them a helping hand, okay, to give them a backup. They finally reached Kohima on 18 of April 1944, bringing much relief to the Allied forces, who were now on the verge of being defeated by the Japanese, because for almost 13 days they were fighting the Japanese forces, okay, who were numbering more than 10,000, and the soldiers, they have only lesser than 1,000. Okay, that is how they were fighting the battle. So on the verge of being surrender or giving up or being defeated, they were they get much relief when the new when the new division came up, all right, for the rescue. So the 2nd Division, they slowly drove away the Japanese forces from in and around Kohima. So the Japanese forces finally had to retreat back to Burma, now present day called Myanmar, because of the strong pursuit by the Allied forces. So that is how the 2nd Division, they were able to chase out the Japanese forces. Okay, so the casualties on both sides were very heavy. So from both the side, okay, from both the Britishers as well as the Japanese, there were heavy casualties between them. So in the Kohima War Cemetery, it lies buried the gallant defenders of Kohima. So remember, there are 1,421 graves of Christian, Muslims, Hindus, and Jews. Alright, and the cremation memorial commemorate the names of 917 Hindu and Sikh soldiers whose remains were cremated, means burned. All right, the body was burned down. Okay, so there are two Victoria Cross holders. That is the highest decoration of the British Army, buried in Kohima War Cemetery. So today when you go and visit the Kohima War Cemetery, you will see that uh, okay, you will see that at the bottom of the Kohima War Cemetery is the memorial of the 2nd Division, okay, with the name of the soldier who gave their lives in the Battle of Kohima, that is inscribed on stone panels. So the famous epitaph on the memorial say, "When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we gave our today." So whenever we go and visit Kohima War Cemetery, you go at the bottom of the war cemetery, okay, you'll see an epitaph, all right, that says, "When you go home, tell them of us and say, for your tomorrow we give our today." And moreover, you can always go and check out, okay, the fact, all right, from the stone epitaph, okay, where the stone inscription, you will see lots of stories, right? You will see lots of stories that has been written down, the names of the famous soldiers who were laid down there, okay. So all those facts you can check out in Kohima War Cemetery. Now, things to do. Question number 1: the Japanese forces invaded India in which year? Question number 2: how many graves are there in Kohima War Cemetery? Question number 3: what are the famous epitaph on the memorial says? Alright, so very simple. So this thing you have to do in your notebook, okay? Thank you and have a good day.